Welcome back, friends. We're on lesson 90 today. Reducing fractions part part 2. If you're like, what? I missed the first one. No, you didn't. I wasn't making videos yet, but you can refer back to lesson 81 if we're like, oh, I don't remember part 1 or what it meant, how to do it, talking about actually what reducing means, how to talk about the terms, and just really how to set up how to reduce a problem. So we're just diving into it a little bit deeper. It's not going to do too much information, like new information, just building off of what was in lesson 81. So I have 2 circles here, as you can see. I have one of my pizzas. Of course, it's always pizza. I ate half of it. Then I ordered another pizza. My sister ate half of that one. Well, that's not how it's cut up, though. I'm wanting a really, really large piece. So I ate one of them out of 2 pieces total, while Tommy cut hers into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pieces, and she ate 4. Some of you can look at that and go, boom, that's half. But it's not written as half right now. We want to reduce this fraction. So we have to think about which numbers can go into 4 and 8 evenly. Never are dealing with decimals, so don't say, well, we can divide by half of something or 0.3. No. Don't do that. Too complicated. We don't do that in high school, I believe, either. I don't remember doing that. If you do, that's going to be some complicated math like calculus or something weird. Don't quote me on that, but right now all we need to know is what numbers go into 4 and 8 evenly. So we can do this one of 2 ways. The first one would be just starting with a low number. Well, I know that 2 goes into 4 and 8 evenly. So we always want to write what we're simplifying by or reducing by. So that way we don't get lost in our own chaos of problem here. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 8 divided by 2 is 4. But we're not done yet, because this isn't simplified to its smallest form or its simplest form. We have to figure out what goes into 2 and 4 evenly. Hopefully you were able to answer 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 4 divided by 2 is 2. Half. Boom. Maybe you saw that you could have done a bigger number that goes into 4 and 8 evenly. Perfect. You can do that too. The number that goes into 4 and 8 evenly is 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1. 8 divided by 4 is 2. We get the same answer, but we didn't have an extra step. I'm going to tell you something right now. If you are one of those people that's still working on your multiplication facts and getting those down really quick, it's going to be more difficult for you to do this second part where you're only doing one step. That is not to say that you can't get there. You just have to remember to get those multiplication facts instead of going, oh, well, 2, 4, 6, 8. Oh, if you're able to go, 2 times 8 is 16. 4 times 6 is 24. If you're able to do that really fast, those recollections or recalling those facts quickly, you may be able to do this one with more ease. However, as we're just starting out, I would recommend doing the 2-step process so that way you can see where you may have written down something incorrectly, or if you need to go back, it's easier for you to see sometimes. I know some of you are like, nah, Miss M, I got this. That's fine. That's fine. I'm not going to slow down your process of learning, but just know that sometimes it's easier to do it this way. So I'm going to give you a couple of different practice problems. Remember, I want you to pause the video so you can figure them out by yourself, or at least attempt to. And then when you're ready to see if the problem's right, or if you get stuck halfway through, then you can unpause the video, to see what I'm doing in terms of solving the problem. So, if you're looking in your book, example 1, it says there are 4 blue marbles and 8 white marbles in a bag. If one marble is taken from the bag without looking, what is the probability that the marble selected is white? Ooh, sorry about that. It's very zoomed in. So 4 blue marbles in a bag, 8 white marbles in a bag. If one marble is taken from the bag without looking, what is the probability that the marble selected is white? Remember, when we're dealing with probability, we are not putting certain, likely, unlikely, or impossible unless it specifically says right if it's certain, unlikely, likely, or impossible. Otherwise, when it just says what is the probability, it's wanting a fraction. So if you aren't remembering that, just go, oh shoot, okay, I gotta write a fraction. Do not write the words certain, likely, unlikely, or impossible. You will get the problem incorrect. So if you are like, oh, I know this already, you can write it down, you can just keep watching the video, whatever you need to do. But we have to figure out how many marbles we are dealing with total. 4 blue marbles, 8 white marbles. Well, we got 12. Perfect. Okay. What is the probability that the marble selected is white? Well, how many marbles were white according to our directions? 2, 4, 6, 8. 8 out of 12 marbles. So I'm going to write this down so that way we can see it instead of just hearing it. 8 out of 12 marbles. Well, this is not in its simplest form. It's not reduced all the way. So what is a number that can go in 8 and 12 evenly? I'm going to start with the lowest. 2. 8 divided by 2 is 4. 12 divided by 2 is 6. Not done yet. This is not its simplest form because there's another number that can go into 4 and 6 evenly. Again, it's 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. Is it done? Yes. I have a feeling some of you are asking, well, Miss M, 1 can go into those evenly. You are correct, but if we did divided by 1, 2 divided by 1 is 2. 3 divided by 1 is 3. So while you're correct, it's just going to give you the same answer. So we don't need to worry about dealing with dividing by 1. Now, I know some of you overachievers here are trying to figure out what goes into 8 and 12 evenly without doing this 2-step process. Well, I'm sure you figured out that it's 4. 8 divided by 4 is 2. 12 divided by 4 is 3. Again, we've ended up with the same answer. We just did a 2-step process versus a 1-step process. Remember, everybody learns at their own pace. I would have been the person that was doing the 2-step problem, and my sister would have been the person doing the 1-step problem. Our brains work differently. God made us that way. Do not compare yourself to other people. So, we've got that probability problem down. The second question has to do with kind of percent. You gotta bear with me here as I move stuff around consistently, but remember, you can always check your own book to see what problem we're dealing with next. Example 2. The value of a dime is 40% the value of a quarter. Write 40% as a reduced fraction. Before we even start solving this problem, there is unnecessary information in this problem that we don't need to solve. We don't need to know necessarily the value of a quarter. While we're talking about 40% is the value of a quarter, we don't really need this information up here right now. We just need to be able to write 40%. as a reduced fraction. So if you're thinking, what is a fraction, or excuse me, a percent always out of? Remember, Miss M wants all the pizza. I want 100% of that pizza always. So we're dealing with 40 over 100. We need to reduce that thing down to its simplest form. There is one of two ways to do this, like always. Well, really, there's multiple ways that you can do this with the greatest common factor. The greatest common factor is going to be the thing that both 40 and 100 have in common. That's the highest number. We've been working with greatest common factor for months now. If you're working on greatest common factor, what goes into 40 and 100? Well, the biggest number that goes into both is 20. So 40 divided by 20 is 2. 100 divided by 20 is 5. How come I couldn't reduce 2/5? Well, 5 is a prime number. Only 1 and 5 can go into 5. I can't do anything with the 2. Nothing more goes into 2 and 5. Remember, we were talking about that 1. Well, 1, yes, does go into both. It's just going to get us the same answer. So we don't need to do anything more with it. It's done. Now, that was just the one-step problem, one-step process. But there were more numbers that could go into 40 and 100. Maybe you picked 5. 40 divided by 5 is 8. 100 divided by 5 is 20. Is it done? Nope. There is more that goes into this. Maybe we decided to do it by 2. 8 divided by 2 is 4. 20 divided by 2 is 10. Oh my Lanta, still not done. Because there is another number, 2, that can evenly go in 4 and 10. 2/5. Woo! Oops, same answer. Maybe you did 10. Forty divided by 10 is 4. 100 divided by 10 is 10. Divided by 2. There are multiple ways to solve this problem, reducing 40 over 100. It does not matter which one you do, as long as you are figuring out, ultimately, that it's reduced to its simplest form. Now, I know I couldn't have done 7, because 7 doesn't go into 40, nor does it go into 100. I couldn't have done 6. I couldn't have done 9. So all of those numbers you can just kind of cross off and say, nope, I don't need them. You can, if you are able, again, to recall those facts really quickly, you might have been able to figure out 20 very fast. Maybe you were been someone like me and been like, you know what, I'm just going to start with 5. I might have even started with 2. It takes a longer time to solve, but it doesn't mean any less. You're still going to get to the same answer. It's going to take you maybe a couple more minutes to do. No rush. You're not racing anybody. There's never a race, even if you're with people or you're seeing that your brother or your sister's doing their homework and they're getting it done way faster. Who cares? It's your math, your brain, your life. Hopefully this has made sense. This is the end of the lesson. You should be able to dive right into lesson 90. Again, you can replay these videos as much as you like. You can always reference Khan Academy videos if mine aren't making sense or if you want a little bit more information with them, as well as referencing back to your book. All of the notes that we are taking are from your book, so you can always reference back to them if you're not able to access YouTube. So good luck with lesson 90 and have a wonderful rest of your day, friends. Love you and miss you.